Welcome in. Today, we're going to talk about something so many of us deal with, that constant need for someone else to say, good job. We're going to break down how you can build this incredible inner strength so that you and only you are in control of how you feel about yourself. This explainer is sponsored by our friends at the Other Way Marshall Consulting, and we'll tell you a little more about them in a bit. For now, let's jump right in. So let me ask you this. Are you tired of letting other people's moods completely decide how your day is going to go? I mean, it's exhausting, right? You're feeling great, and then one person gives you a funny look or a short reply, and boom, your whole day just tanks. This is the exact question that gets us started, because it really hits on a struggle that is just so human. And this really says it all. When you're constantly waiting for other people to clap for you, you're literally handing them the remote control to your own emotions. You end up just reacting to everything around you, always looking outside for permission to feel good about yourself instead of just knowing it from the inside. So how do we get out of this trap? Well, the key is to understand two totally different ways of being. Think of it like a tree, one with weak, shallow roots and another with deep, solid roots. Let's take a look at what that actually means for you. Okay, so here's the breakdown. The weak root person is on a total roller coaster. When someone says something nice, you're on top of the world. But the second you get criticized, you just fall apart. It's an exhausting way to live. Now, the solid root person, they're grounded. It's not that they ignore feedback. No, they can listen to it, they can learn from it, but it doesn't have the power to ruin their day. Why? Because their strength, their sense of self, it comes from the inside out. And this is a really important point. The goal here isn't to become some kind of robot who doesn't care about anything. It's about changing where you get your energy from. Think of praise like sprinkles on a cupcake. It's a nice bonus, for sure, but it can't be the cupcake itself. The fuel that keeps you going has to be your own self-worth and the knowledge of your own effort. So, how do we actually build that solid root? Well, it all starts on the inside. So step one is all about getting your internal setup right, your physical and your mental foundation. These two things right here, they're so simple, but they are incredibly powerful. First, feel your weight. This is all about getting out of your own head. You know, when you're anxious and all your energy is up in your spinning thoughts, you get kind of top-heavy, and it feels like anything could just knock you over. So right now, just focus on the feeling of your feet on the floor. It literally brings your center of gravity down. And second, your breath. Short, shallow chest breaths tell your brain there's danger, but deep, slow belly breaths, that's a direct signal to your nervous system that says, hey, we're safe, we're in control here. And here's a little check-in you can do anytime. Where are your shoulders right now? Are they creeping up towards your ears? Is your jaw tight? Just take a second, drop your shoulders, relax your neck. A tense, stiff body is a nervous body. When you release that physical tension, you help release the mental tension too. Now this is a game changer. The next time someone says something rude or tries to provoke you, just pause. Before you say a single word, take one full breath, in and out. That tiny little pause is everything. It's the space between their action and your reaction. And in that space, you stay in control. You stay in the driver's seat. And this quote just sums it all up perfectly. The point of all this internal work isn't to fight the wind, to fight the criticism or the negativity. It's to get so deeply rooted in yourself that you can bend with it, but you will never, ever let it break you. Okay, so once you start feeling more grounded on the inside, it's time for step 2, taking action. This is all about how we apply that newfound stability to how we deal with the world around us. These two strategies work hand in hand. First, build a buffer. This is like creating a mental pause button. Someone says something, and instead of instantly reacting and feeling hurt, you create a little space. You hold their comment at a distance, and you get to decide how to respond. And then, keep your cool. Look, when someone's trying to push your buttons, the reaction is exactly what they want. It's their fuel. When you stay calm, you're essentially starving their fire of oxygen. You refuse to play their game, and just like that, their power over you completely disappears. Here's a powerful little mind trick for you. When someone is mean or critical, remember this. It almost always says more about their bad day than it does about you. We have this habit of absorbing negativity like a sponge, but when you realize their comment is probably just a reflection of their own stress or unhappiness, you can let it bounce right off you. You know, we're taught that we always have to have the last word, that we have to win every argument. But real strength is often knowing which battles just aren't worth your energy. Sometimes saying absolutely nothing is the most powerful move you can make. It shows self-control. It shows that you're too grounded to be pulled into pointless drama.
Okay, so I know what some of you might be thinking. Does all this mean I'm supposed to just ignore everyone and become a hermit? It's a really common question, but that's not it at all. Note the key difference here is between awareness and attachment. You should absolutely be aware of what's going on around you. You should listen to people. That's how we grow. But you don't have to be attached to their opinions. You don't have to let what they think define who you are. So you can listen, you can consider what they say, but you always stay anchored to your own sense of self. And that leads to another great question. Look, we all need real constructive feedback to get better at what we do. So how do you take that advice on board without falling right back into that old validation trap? Well, it comes down to knowing the difference between opinions and facts. This makes it really simple. An opinion that just lives inside someone else's head. It's their preference, like, I don't really like that color. But data, facts, that's different. That's something provable, like our sales went down 10% after we changed the color. Your goal should be to seek out useful data to help you improve, and just let opinions be opinions. And look, this stuff really works. This isn't just some nice theory. The source material shares a story from a manager who put these ideas into practice. They went from spending hours agonizing over what their boss thought to feeling, in their words, much more solid. This is about a real, tangible change in how you go through your life. So, if you're listening to all this and thinking, yes, I need to build that solid root, and you're ready to go even deeper, then there's a really great opportunity for you to do just that. It's called the Other Way Mentorship Program. It's a full 10 weeks of live online training where you get to work directly with instructors to build this exact kind of internal strength. And it's not just theory. It also includes two-hour hands-on practice sessions at a Heartland hub near you, so you can really put these skills into practice. This is for anyone who is just done with being pushed around and is ready to finally stand their ground. If that sounds like you, the application link is right there in the description below. And hey, while you're down there, if you've gotten some value out of this, a quick like and subscribe really helps us out. So whether you decide to join the program or not, the ultimate goal of everything we've talked about today is exactly the same: learning how to truly stand on your own, to feel secure in who you are, completely independent of what anyone else thinks. Just think about that for a second. Real strength isn't about putting up thicker and thicker walls to protect yourself. It's about developing a core that is so solid, so grounded, that you don't even need a wall to feel safe. Now that is real freedom. And so, I'll leave you with one final question to think about. Whose approval are you living for? Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer. Stay safe, stay strong. That's the other way.